Hey guys, it's Dylan here with another video. This is a video that I don't like to make, but I think it's something that we as athletic trainers need to be aware of in situations that might happen. This video is in response to some of the news that we've been hearing around the nation with mass shootings, specifically the mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado, that took the life of Officer Eric Talley. It kind of struck a nerve with me. I was involved in an officer-involved shooting in Denver a few years back. So it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I think it's a good time to address MCI's multiple casualty incidents. Hopefully, as an athletic trainer, this is nothing that we're ever going to have to deal with, specifically active shooters. But something that I can see athletic trainers having to deal with this in is, let's say, a bus accident on the way to an away game. A multiple casualty incident is defined as more injured individuals than there is medical assistance. Athletic trainers are probably thinking, well, that's every day of my life. Well, true, but we're talking about life-saving or life-threatening injuries here. So the way to approach a multiple casualty incident is through something called the START Triage pattern. START Triage pattern goes through 4 different color-coded systems to determine how everybody is going to be treated, who goes to the hospital first, things of that nature. There's 4 different categories. First one is going to be green. That's going to be your walking wounded. Those are going to be individuals who might not even be hurt. Those might be individuals who have a few cuts and scrapes and bruises, but overall they're fine. They can walk to you. The second one is going to be yellow. These people are going to be delayed response or delayed care. They're doing all right. They might have a broken bone or two, but they're not going to die within the next 60 minutes or so. Then you have your red. These are your immediate transports. These are the people who need life-saving interventions and life-saving interventions as quickly as possible. And then you have your black, which are your deceased individuals. Not necessarily going to be deceased individuals by the time that you get to them, but you're going to have to make that hard decision where I need to let this person go in order to save more lives possible. I've never been involved in an MCI myself. I think that would be a very difficult decision to make, especially as an athletic trainer with some of the relationships that we have with our athletes. But sadly, it's something that we might need to come to terms with, and something that we might need to do. So the START Triage pattern is all about respirations, perfusion, and mental status. It's pretty simple to check. So first one, once you're safe, that's the biggest thing, is your safety is priority. So whether it's a mass shooting, a bus accident, whatever it might be, as long as you're safe, that's the biggest priority. Don't go trying to help people if you're not going to be safe, because you're not going to be able to help individuals if you yourself are hurt. So safety is always number one priority. Rescuer safety is always number one priority. So you approach the scene, you're safe, make sure that the area that you're operating in is safe, and then you're going to simply just yell out. If you can walk, I want you to walk to me. If they walk to you, you're going to have them to go sit kind of in a faraway area away from the active scene, and have them just sit and kind of hang out there. They can kind of manage themselves, monitor themselves, things of that nature. You don't need to worry about that. Then you're going to be walking around to people and seeing people who don't respond to the can you walk. Now you're going to walk up to them and you're going to reposition. You're going to talk to them and see if they're breathing. Just a simple respiratory rate. Either put your hand on their chest, see if they're breathing, finger on the nose, whatever it might be. Just quick assessment of breathing. If they are not breathing, you're going to do a airway repositioning, which is just a head tilt chin lift. If they start spontaneously breathing again, you're going to color code that individual as red. They need immediate transport to the hospital. If they are not breathing after you position the airway, you're going to mark them as black. After you assess their breathing, let's say that they have breathing, they're good to go there. Now I'm going to check their respiratory rate. Their respiratory rate. If I see a respiratory rate greater than 30, they're getting marked as red. If I see a respiratory rate less than 30, then I'm going to continue on to my next assessment, which is going to be my perfusion. I'm going to check for radial pulse and cap refill. If I have no radial pulse and my cap refill is less than 2 seconds, I'm going to red. If I have a radial pulse and cap refill of greater than 2 seconds still, or at least as long as I have a radial pulse, then I'm going to move on to my mental status. If they obey commands, then they're going to go into yellow, so my more delayed treatment. If they don't obey commands, then I'm going to go into red, which is my immediate transport. It's going to be a little confusing. I'm going to try and post a link to the Start Triage algorithm. It's pretty simple. It walks everybody through it. Biggest things to take away from multiple casualty incidents are make sure that you yourself are safe. You're not going to be able to provide care if you're hurt. Make sure you debrief afterwards. Make sure you talk to, whether it's AT's care, another athletic trainer, somebody who was there, just to debrief the scene and kind of go through what it is. Hopefully, as an athletic trainer, this is a situation that we never have to deal with. Specifically, an active shooter situation. It's, sadly, a lot of us work in colleges and high schools, and those situations can happen. And I think in that setting, it's going to be a little bit different. You're probably not going to be the first responder on the scene to that scenario, but it's something that might happen and that you should be wary of. Like I said, the typical response where I see this happening is in a bus accident or plane accident or whatever it might be, where you're traveling to an away game as a group and there happens to be something there. I don't necessarily, expect all athletic trainers. I don't expect it of myself. I think it's not expected of me if there's an active shooter to go out there and start triaging. That's not my job at that point. My job is to stay safe. We have first responders for a reason. They'll respond. They'll do what they can do. But you should be a part of that group. You should talk to them. You might know the layout of the building better. So maybe try to get with them and try and show them what's going on or things of that nature. If your schools do active shooter training with police officers, fire, and EMS, have them go there or be there with them. Talk with them. See what's going on. See how you can help. Communication is key. Work with your local first responders. If you have any questions about MCIs or anything of that nature, Start Triage, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Y'all take care of each other. Be kind to one another.